Now the observation that we can make here is that generically this formula is, well, A equals $50 was our payment, so let me abbreviate that PMT. 1.01 to the 12th, well hey, that's really just, I'm going to put a square bracket here, 1 plus R over N, the APR divided by 12% divided by 12 months, raised to the, well, what's this going to be? This is going to be N times T, because we were only doing it for 1 year. T was 1, N was 12. And then it appears that we just have, if there's this pattern, then we just have this minus 1 at the end, divided by, well, that's R over N right there. And there we go. There is our annuity formula. So just to prove that this works, now by the way, this doesn't really matter if it's 12 months or 24 or 36 months, because back here in this mathematical procedure we went through, the same type of thing will happen where the first and the last term will be left over. We use this little algebraic trick, which by the way, this wasn't seen overnight. It took mathematicians a while to develop this idea that, hey, if I just multiply through by 1.01 and then I find the difference, that I'll be able to eliminate all but 2 terms, the first and the last. Well, if this were 36, well then we'd have 36 minus 50 times 1.1 to the 0, and that would work out just the same way. So to show that this actually works, I'll come over here to my calculator, and I've gone ahead and actually put in the dollar amounts of each individual month's deposit. So the $50 you put in at the end of the first month will yield $55.78. This is 50 times 1.01 to the 11th power, and then as you notice, each payment that you make later on at the end of the 12-month cycle earns less and less. So by the time you get to the 7th month, that $50 that you deposited only earns $2.55. So I'm going to add these up, months 1 through 12, and I get $634.13. That's by doing it the long way, if you did them one by one. Now, of course, this can be done in our TVM solver, and the importance of having the comfort level with the formula is that the calculator here uses this formula behind the scenes. So when we enter stuff in, it puts it in the right place. Now, how does the calculator know we want to use this formula right here? Well, that's where this PMT comes in handy. So, in this case, we wanted to know compounded monthly after 12 times 1 equals 12 months at 12% APR. Now, the present value you'll notice is 0. There is no initial deposit, because if we go back to our little guide here, we didn't put anything away at month 0. We waited till the end of the month and then put in the $50 payment. This is confusing for a lot of people at first because it's kind of weird to think about putting money away at the end of the month, but trust me, it makes things a little bit easier. So we now have 0 present value, but we are making a payment of -50. Now this is an outflow because this money is exiting our wallet every month, and now I can come over here and calculate my future value, alpha, enter, and it tells me that me making $50 payments at 12% APR compounded monthly yields me $634.13, which is exactly what we got up here by doing it, adding up the terms one by one. So let's do an example with this. We don't typically use the formula very often, but you should be able to plug in, basically calculate this right here and get that same number. Just to show that to you, that that's possible, I'm going to go ahead and I have it entered here. I'm going to hit enter, and you'll notice I get $634.13. So mathematically this worked out perfectly. So let's do an example. Here we have, we're going to open a rainy day fund by means of a money market account. That's just a special type of account. It usually pays higher interest but has stipulations on how much you can withdraw and when you can withdraw. The account has averaged 4.2% APR compounded monthly over the last 5 years. You'd like to deposit $10 each week. Assuming that the fund maintains the average rate and that you do not withdraw from the account, how much will you have accumulated in 30 years? So, what are we asking? Well, let's write down some things. So first of all, we're going to put in a payment of $10. I'm going to put -10 to ensure that it's an outflow. But now, in the problem, we're told that interest is compounded monthly, but I'm making this payment each week. Oh, well, how does that work? Well, since the interest period is once a month,